I'm Stuart Bloor. This video is all about the challenge of cold water fishing, in particular after perch on the canal. So I'm quite focused today, as indeed I am most of the time when I go out angling. Anyway, let's get that bait in the water and we'll cover tips and aspects of this type of fishing during the course of the video. Enjoy! While I'm waiting for that rod tip to go, let's talk a very important consideration, not only at this time of the year, all through the seasons of course, but especially so during the colder months of the year: location. I'm on a canal and that's where the focus for me is coming from today. But let's simplify it. Say for example you have a 100 metre section of canal, and in that section of canal you've got 100 fish. Now during the summer months they will be very active and they can turn up, and they will turn up anywhere, but during the winter that's when they tend to shoal up. So what you're looking for is you're looking for the areas where you will find the fish. So you may have 90 metres of that canal that I've just referred to that is devoid of fish, whereas the 10 metres, that's where you will find what you're after. So what you have to try and do is work out where they are. It's watercraft, it's piscatorial common sense really. So look for something unusual. You won't get depth changes in the canal as you would in a river. You've got shelves, boat channels, that's about it, certainly where I am today. But what you do have is overhanging trees, you have branches, you have vegetation. Although died back at this time of the year, you can still get a certain amount overhanging the canal, especially on the far bank, and of course bridges and lock structure. And all of these will offer food for fish, because of course locks and stone structure, that's where they'll search out their food during the winter where it's scarce. Also safety as well. A bridge or a lock offers protection from predators. So do your homework, don't just turn up, get out your car into the first swim and cast out. Even if that swim looks like it's been fished quite a lot, that's probably because many anglers tend to just drop into what we call the car park swim. Search it out, do your homework. Even if you walk up and down a stretch once, you get a good idea of what features are out there. Today I'm next to some stone structure, some brickwork and some overhanging vegetation, so hopefully I've got the best of both worlds. I tell you what, it's been a long time coming, but perseverance is the name of the game in winter perch fishing. It's a lively one, and this is why you always kneel down, of course, and hold the fish tight. Even though I did there, it's I tell you what, it's livelier now than it was when it was in the water, because it came in quite tamely. Well, I've had one or two taps recently, but it's been very, very quiet indeed. But do you know what? It's not a big fish, but I'm not a blanker. While I'm waiting for hopefully another bite, let me talk you through another important aspect of cold water fishing: thermometer. Make sure you've got one of these. As you can see, there's the thermometer itself. It's a digital one, and I'll write more about this in the accompanying blog. The temperature reading there, that's the air at the moment, so it's quite mild. But what you really want to know is what's happening beneath the surface of the water. So there's your lead. That fits into the thermometer, and then that goes into the water, and as you can see, I've added a small lead there to take it down. So it's quite a good lead there, a little bit tangled, but quite a good lead there. That's what you want, something with a metre or so of lead to go into the water. Water temperature is crucial at any time of the year, but especially at this time because you're at the bottom end. I would say the temperature trend is as important as the temperature itself. For example, today, very, very cold. 2 days ago, the canal was covered in ice. So as you can imagine, the water temperature, rock bottom, but it's been on the rise. Since I've been here today, it's gone up 0.4 of a degree, which is quite something percentage-wise. So if, for example, I'm fishing at 3 degrees today, and it was 1.5 for the previous week, that's quite some rise. That will trigger at least some reaction in the fish. On the other hand, it could be 5 degrees today, but if during the previous week it was 10, that is a considerable drop, and the fish will respond accordingly. Also remember that air temperature and water temperature don't change at the same rate. This time of the year, very cold at night. We've got almost 0 predicted this evening. Over the last few nights, it's been below. So very cold at night. In the day, as you saw, 8.1. That's been the high this afternoon. Well, the water temperature doesn't fluctuate at the same rate. The water temperature, when the air starts to drop in the afternoon, you see a lot of anglers go home because it's cold. But it's not about what's happening this side, it's about what's going on beneath the surface. So although it may be cold for us, in effect, the water temperature, because it changes at a different rate to the air, could actually be on the increase. A classic example of that is the ocean. Now, the warmest time of the water around the British coast is the autumn. Now, we go on holiday in the summer when the sun's out in June, July and August, and the water hasn't reached its peak yet. Although the air temperature is at a peak, it takes a little bit of time for the water to catch up, and a kingfisher just gone past while I was talking. So bear in mind that it's not what we feel this side of the water, it's about what's going on beneath it. Get yourself a thermometer, absolutely vital if you are to fish throughout the winter. It won't necessarily put fish on the bank, but what it will do is it will give you an indication of what's going on out there. And if you fish regularly like I do, and you take a temperature reading each time, you know whether it's on the increase or the decrease or stable, and it gives you an idea, of course, how much bait to put out. That's important. Put too much feed out there, you'll kill the swim for the rest of the day. Put just the right amount out, you can actually stimulate the fish into feeding. It's a bit like us. We might not be hungry, we didn't necessarily fancy something to eat, but there's a bowl of peanuts or crisps or something on the side. We see them, it stimulates us into taking something. That's what we're trying to do with a fish at this time of the year. So, thermometer, temperature, important part of cold water fishing. As you can see, I'm back home now. That was a very slow session as far as fish were concerned, but I did catch that one perch, so at least I wasn't fishless. But it was really about tips. In this instance, location and water temperature. Check out the rest of the blog, the written blog that you can find the link to here in the comments box on YouTube. Funnily enough, I did okay the rest of the week. I just took the camcorder out on the wrong session, that's all. This week's blog entry is called My Girl. What's that all about? Well, as always, give the link a click, and some of the photos that you've been seeing on the screen right now, well, that was a football game that I went to up in the northeast of England. Enjoy your fishing, out and about yourself, tight lines. Why not share this video if you like it? And I'll be back next week.